Changes from Tuesday's show when we took an early look at this, Dave. What do we got?
Yeah, so that value is dried up, which we don't usually see. I think almost every week, at least one of our featured bets on Tuesday has been an early spread pick. But the model is no longer finding that edge in those. Could be for a variety of reasons: line movement, odds, the spread line itself. But I would say our personal analysis of those games is unchanged. So everything we talked about still applies. But the Dimers model simply no longer identifies value in those particular bets. So, they would be not Dimers endorsed, I guess, at this point in time. However, everything we said applies. So we don't feel any different personally. We're going to shake it up a little bit this week with some money line looks. Couple reasons. One is that when Jace was on this show that was just this past Tuesday, right? That wasn't the week before.
Earlier this week.
All blends together. Yes, on Tuesday. He talked about our new weekly model reports that we're running out. And those have revealed or identified rather that our money lines are on the most profitable return of our main three markets. Notably favorites returning a positive ROI across about 30 bets combined opening, closing across all books. So that's what we're going to look at this week. Our report went out earlier via email, and one of these bets is in there. So we're pretty well aligned on that. And we'll get into it right here. Pull them up. First up, Browns money line at the Jets. So the last time we had a money line on here for a team, I was like, I probably wouldn't normally bet on this team. It worked out. It was the Panthers. They showed up and did the job because, as mentioned, the Dimers model is finding those spots. And this seems to be a pretty good spot. 60.2% probability, 4.4% edge. This actually opened as underdogs for the Browns, and then the Jets had their little fire sale, and now they are minus 1.5 point favorites. About 4 points of movement, which is pretty big. So technically you had better value early in the week, especially if you're taking them on the money line. But you got a much stronger probability now, so you're really not on the wrong end of it either way. So this is in MetLife. Like I said, the Jets got their fire sale, possibly have Garrett Wilson returning, also have a very disgruntled Breece Hall. There's no question this team is playing for the first overall pick at this point, but it feels a bit early to be going full tank mode, unlike the NBA, where we're seeing this already happen basically for a few teams. But it's hard to envision the Jets, I don't want to say trying in this game, but because you're playing for your job and stuff, but it just doesn't feel like there's a lot of good vibes to be willing a team to win against a very, very good defense. We've also got a 58% probability for the Browns to cover minus 1.5. So it's not even just, squeaking away with the win. We do project them on the spread as well. Getting probably get a little bit better odds there. I mean, you would minus 110, minus 115 or so. Slightly stronger probability here. The only other time the Browns were favored this year was against the Dolphins, and they absolutely drubbed them 31-6. Browns defense is elite, only allowed 3 rushing TDs this season. Last time the Jets faced a top defense like the Browns, Justin Fields threw for 45 yards in a 13-11 loss to the Broncos. He was sacked 9 times in that game, which I didn't think was a real stat. It is. This game feels almost like the same type of setup. You've got a great defense, just like the Broncos, a Jets offense with tons of questions. I mean, they had Garrett Wilson in a game earlier and Justin Fields threw for 45 yards. Just not a team you can really get behind. Fields, I think, is the 5th most sacks this season. Now you got Myles Garrett coming at you, who just had 5 sacks and was super pissed in that game. Another stat I couldn't believe is real. The Jets have 1 takeaway through 9 weeks. 1 singular forced fumble, no interceptions. Or fumble recovery, I should say. They have about 5 or 6 forced fumbles and only recovered 1. It's pretty insane. So I don't need a ton of convincing. It's the Browns. It's not an inspiring team to bet on, but it just doesn't feel like a good spot for the Jets, and the model has been doing quite well in these spots lately.
Yeah, Jets are 0-5 at home this year too. So if you're like, they're at home, okay. No, it doesn't mean anything. Like, if anything, this fan base is very angry. Like, they were already angry before the front office sold the entire team this week. I think, from a spot standpoint too, you could have convinced me prior to this deadline uproar that New York had like found their locker room, won their first game of the season in Cincinnati, and this is going to be a turning point for Eric Glenn. But to be gutted, right? To get that first win and then have your front office essentially say, let's make sure that doesn't happen again. We want the number one pick. Like, I can't imagine what it's like in that locker room right now. You watch the Browns, bad football team, great player in Myles Garrett. They can still get pressure on anybody, let alone Justin Fields, who when he gets under pressure, he just kind of crumbles and withers. I love the Browns in this spot. I think it's one of the better value bets, if not the best value bet of the week.
Yeah, it might be a worse environment at home for the Jets than on the road
Really?
because they have a stadium full of angry fans. Yes. I was there for the Cowboys game, and the air slowly sucking out of the stadium like every 5 minutes before they were filing out in the third quarter was palpable. But yeah, so Browns money line, top probability of the week. Very good spot. I think I'm going to be on it. Go right into our next one. Another money line. Jaguars at the Texans. 57.5% probability, 2.5% edge. Almost the same odds, minus 122 here. Jags are looking to complete the season sweep of the Texans after beating them 17-10 back in week 3. Though they haven't looked their best the past few weeks. Barely escaped with an OT win versus the Raiders last week. Got absolutely whooped up by the Rams. Did keep it close against the Seahawks in a low-scoring game. Probably one of the only teams to keep the Seahawks under 27 points lately. But they also beat the Chiefs and 49ers. The team's just kind of an enigma, with Trevor Lawrence just sometimes looking very good and other times doing things that are making you like just wonder what you just watched happen on your television. However, they will get the Texans without CJ Stroud. Concussion, Davis Mills will start. He was not good last week versus Denver's defense, even without Patrick Surtain. He's thrown for under 150 yards in his last 3 spot starts or injury replacement games since 2023. I actually didn't put his numbers in here, but when he was starting for that full season in Houston in 2022, pretty rough touchdown to interception numbers. Just not a good quarterback. And I don't mean to talk down on the guy, but we're just analyzing this game from an objective perspective. So it's all very good for the Jaguars as far as the Texans offense, but their defense is very good, very good. Lowest completion rate, lowest passer rating by opposing quarterbacks, boasting a top 6 rushing defense as well. Feels like another game that's probably going to go under. Houston games have gone under in 6 of 8. It's only 37.5 in this, a very Browns game total. And Jags need to win this game really to keep pace in the AFC South. So I think they're going to be going all in. I mean, so do the Texans technically, but that looks like it's pretty much over for them. And if the Jags can win this game, it's possible that they'll already know they'll be only one game away if the Colts happen to lose Sunday morning. So very important game for the Jaguars. Very good spot for the model here. It's going to be probably sloppy this game and probably not a ton of points scored by the guys you want to score points. But I think the Jaguars money line is definitely the side you want to be on given the state of the Texans right now.
Yep. I've been enjoying fading Houston much of the season. I don't need much convincing that they're one of the more overpriced teams in the markets. I mean, just 2 short years ago, they were one of 5 Super Bowl favorites coming into the season, and it just hasn't come to fruition. That rookie year from CJ Stroud is going to kind of be an all-timer how did that happen thing, I think, for me. I thought last week they had plenty of chances to beat Denver and just could not capitalize in the big moments. So not surprised. It does feel like Jacksonville is one of our model's favorite teams this year. It feels like they show up a lot, and I can see why. Like they really have success on both ends of the field. They're a team that can win in a variety of ways. I don't think it's a coincidence that we're consistently seeing Jacksonville as underpriced, and I think Houston's been a popular fade target as well.
Yeah, the model has definitely been high on Jacksonville. They were a value play for us in the division a few weeks ago. Before that has kind of gone the other way, but now they're only 2 games back, 1.5 maybe. So they could very, very quickly that whole top of that division could turn around. And not surprising to see the model like Jacksonville here. It would take me a couple of minutes to do it, so I'm not going to do it now. But maybe for next episode, we can look at the team by team results for the model's recommended bets this season. So we can find out which teams in those games are featured in. Which games those teams were featured in where we were doing the best. So I'll look into that for Tuesday's show. Give us some early insights for next week. So there's our two bets of the week. Let's move to top TD prop guy. We sort of had a similar thing last week with Josh Jacobs here. No value on 3 touchdowns this week. He did score the anytime. He did not cash any part of the ladder, though. But this week, we've got Dallas Goedert as our top TD prop target. I will say top TD prop target as in good edge and multiple props here. We have a ton of touchdown props on site in this game as well, but there's also a little bit of uncertainty around the backfield right now. Saquon's banged up. We haven't seen him practice yet. That would be today. It could be right now, actually. But anyway, Packers defense versus tight ends isn't super great. I've talked about this on the show before. Tight end week, we talked about it. Goddard gets an edge here for 1 and 2+. Packers are far more vulnerable through the air as on the ground. They've allowed just 5 rushing touchdowns and only 89.4 yards per game. As mentioned, backfield could be a little shaky here, so expect a little bit more passing work. 29th worst red zone defense, first tight ends. 23rd worst red zone defense overall for Green Bay. While I will say the backfield's got a few questions, Hurts also has some value for 1 and 2 in this game, so I might look at a little Hurts Goddard 2-piece, but I'm probably going to play these two as straights. I mean, that 2 touchdown value on Goddard is insane. Plus 2,500, 7.7% should be about 1,600, I think. So that's just immense value there. And our fair odds on him to score 1 would be only about plus 180. So plus 235 here. Very good target. And I'm blanking on how many touchdowns Dallas Goedert has this year, but I'm pretty sure it's 6. He's been just very efficient. In 7, tied for the second most receiving touchdowns in the league. So, give me some Goddard on primetime lights.
He's been in the end zone all the time, it seems. I am honestly, I don't know your personal play. We do personal plays at the end of this episode. Kind of surprised it isn't all Goddard for you, but maybe I'll be surprised when we get to that point of the show. No spoilers, Dave. Don't tell me.